On behalf of my co-authors, I am pleased to present this video abstract on our paper, Perceived and Objective Physical Function in 2 U.S. population-based cohorts of adults with systemic lupus erythematosus. My name is Dr. Laura Plantinga, and I am an epidemiologist and health services researcher at UCSF. Physical function assessment is critical in SLE care, but busy clinicians often rely on quick assessments of perceived physical function, which measures patient perceptions of physical abilities and limitations, rather than the more time and resource-intensive objective physical function assessment, which involves assessment of performance on standard physical tasks by a trained observer. A better, more generalizable understanding of the potential discordance between perceived and objective physical function could inform clinical assessment of physical function in SLE and implementation of the associated proposed SLE care guideline. Our study objectives were to provide estimates of perceived and objective physical function, identify factors associated with each, and estimate the discordance between perceived and objective physical function in a population of adults with SLE. To do this, we leveraged a pooled cohort. From the population-based GOAL cohort in metropolitan Atlanta, we recruited individuals for our ancillary appeal study, in which we measured both perceived and objective physical function. From the similarly population-based CLUES cohort in the Bay Area, we recruited individuals for in-person visits during the third study visit, during which both perceived and objective physical function were measured. Together, the pooled cohort included 619 diverse individuals, most of whom were women. Perceived physical function was measured with PROMIS short forms and reported as T-scores, meaning that scores of 50 represented the general population mean. Objective physical function was measured with the short physical performance battery, which includes assessment of balance, gait speed, and lower body strength. For both, higher scores indicate better function. Overall, we found that perceived physical function T-scores were nearly 1 standard deviation below the mean, and that, on average, those in the CLUES cohort, shown in pink, had higher scores than those in appeal, shown in blue. The median objective physical function score was low, but scores were again higher in CLUES than in appeal. We found that older age, female sex, Black race, obesity, higher disease activity and damage, and moderate to severe depressive symptoms were all associated with lower perceived physical function. For objective physical function, results were similar, except there was no difference in score by sex. "37% of the participants had perceived and objective scores that fell into the same quartile, shown in green, whereas about 22% had discordant perceived and objective physical function, defined as a difference of 2 or more quartiles between the measurements. These are shown in orange. Discordant individuals were evenly split between those who underestimated their objective function and those who overestimated their objective physical function. In conclusion, we found that perceived and objective physical function can vary considerably between populations with SLE, and that differences in age, obesity, and disease-related factors, such as SLE activity, cumulative damage, and depressive symptoms, contribute to this variation. We also found that nearly 1/4 had discordant measurements of perceived and objective physical function, suggesting that perceived physical function may not always reflect objective physical function. We would like to thank the NIH and CDC for funding this work, and we thank you for watching.